What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in on today's video. We've got a really exciting video. You guys have probably already seen what's sitting behind me, but we're gonna go over the top 5 things that you should do when buying a used 6.7 Powerstroke turbo diesel. This particular truck had 100,000 miles on it when we bought it, and we did 5 different things on this just to get it to the point where it was really reliable and ready to go to work. So many of you guys probably know the Topig 2.0, the gray extended cab long bed 6-liter truck. I'll post a little picture here. Ultimately bought this truck for the creature comforts, more room, more space. It tows like an absolute dream. The way that these trucks deliver power compared to the 6.0 is unmatched. So that's really why we upgraded. So we had to say goodbye to our beloved 6.0 Powerstroke Topig 2.0 to upgrade to the Topig 3.0 now, 6.7 Powerstroke dual. Let's jump into the top 5 things that you guys need to do when you're buying a used 6.7 Powerstroke. Whether it's got 50,000 miles or it's got 200,000 miles, these are things you need to be checking and or doing to your truck when you buy it. Now listen, I don't want to bore you guys with the basics here, but we do need to talk about some specific things when it comes to the maintenance side of these trucks. You need to check the air filter. You don't know if the previous owner never did it, if he was out in a hayfield all day and that's all he did was haul around round bales. You don't know. So check your air filter, get a new one. If it is an aftermarket, like a Wix air filter or something like that, get that junk out of there. Get yourself an OEM air filter for your truck and put an OEM one in it. That is going to be number 1. What you're going to see here is this knob right here. So if your air filter is restricted, this is going to be sucked down. You can see there is a red part and a green part. And so that's a real quick indication of whether or not you have an air filter that is plugging up and going to give you eventually some problems. That's going to be number 1 of our maintenance for our number 1 top 5 things you need to do. Now, right there, you can see we have a OEM oil filter. This is going to be number 2 on our maintenance schedule here. We got to make sure we have an OEM oil filter on this truck. And then what I like to run in all of the 6.7 Powerstrokes is Schaefer's 5W40 full synthetic oil. Now, these trucks take, the 17 to 19 6.7 Powerstrokes, they take 13 quarts of oil. So a little bit of a change if you're coming up from a 6-liter that takes 15. These only take 13 quarts, and again, we're running the 5W40 full synthetic Schaefer's. That is good from like well below 0 to, you know, over 70 degrees. You know, it's a good year-round oil. It's a full synthetic. It's a high-quality Schaefer's. You're gonna pay for it, but like I said, we've done 2 services on this truck right when we first bought it. We went 5,000 miles, and then we changed it again. And now this oil change, we're going to go to 7,500 miles. We did do an oil analysis on that first oil change. It came back beautiful. And so, like I said, jump into that 7,500 mile mark. And we might even continue to push that. This truck, you know, we're on the highway a lot with it, hauling the sled pull truck around. So, you know, we can actually push our intervals a little bit, which kind of helps with the cost of the Schaefer's oil. And so, yes, Schaefer's oil, OEM, oil filter, 5W40 full synthetic oil is what you're going to want to run in these trucks. Moving on to from there, we have our upper fuel filter here, and then we have our lower fuel filter. You're going to find underneath the truck right there. So, change your fuel filters. Get that done. These trucks, as you know, have a CP4. They can be a little bit finicky. The tolerances in these high pressure injection systems are super tight. You don't know what the maintenance schedule. Most guys don't even know there's a second fuel filter. I don't know how many times I've come across that. So get a fuel filter set, OEM, of course, and buy from a reputable place. Guys, I can't stress this enough. Walmart is not a reputable place. Go to your local Ford dealer. Get it from a local Ford dealer, or go to a local shop and get an OEM fuel filter, air filter, oil filter from a local shop as well. There are a lot of scams. Amazon, again, not a reputable place. So make sure you're getting your filters from a reputable location. Fuel filters is going to go right in. This is like the first thing I did. I pulled this truck in, I dumped the oil, changed the fuel filters, and changed the air filter. That's the first thing that I did. Whether or not it needed it, I don't know. But now I know where we stand. So now we are going to move to number 2, top thing, 17 and 19, 6.7 power strokes. This is a big one. This one can create a lot of problems, specifically in the oil leak department. And these trucks aren't like super easy to work on. You don't want to end up having a huge oil leak and it being a very horrible location that requires a lot of money to repair. So what you see right here is a CCV filter. So this right here is the CCV filter off of this truck. What you will notice is there are bolts that go around the edge of this CCV filter. That is because there is a serviceable filter inside of here. And this serviceable filter gets clogged, and all it does is create back pressure in your crankcase, which then starts blowing out seals, and you end up with oil leaks. You will know that if you've done enough research, the upper oil pans are known for leaking on these trucks, and this is one of the #1 culprits that can cause a upper oil pan leak, amongst other oil leaks as well. So if you pop the hood on it and you see these bolts going around there, you got to get rid of this one. Ford actually has a updated part number for you guys, and so we will show you real quick. Right back there is the updated CCV filter. You can see the top of it. There are no bolts or anything. The big difference here is that the new CCV filter just has baffles in it. There's no filter. So all it does is just have a couple of little baffles, and those baffles capture the oil and then return it back into the engine. Where this one has an actual filter that gets clogged and causes oil leaks. No bueno. Let's go over the part number here real quick. 17 and 19, 6.7 Power Stroke, FC3Z6A785F. That is the updated part number. If it has the bolts, get rid of that filter. Get yourself the updated CCV filter. Okay, moving on to number 3. This is another big one, and it's related to the transmission. Now, for credibility reasons, let me explain. I've been working on 6.7 Power Strokes since 2011 when they first came out, all the way up to now, 2024. I have seen these trucks. I've seen them with 200,000 miles on them. I've seen them with 100,000 miles on them. And I don't know how many transmissions I've replaced, but there is a reason I went with a 17 and 19, and that is because of the 6R140. The 6R140 has been a phenomenal transmission for the Ford Powerstroke platform. I did not want to jump into the 10-speed. I think it is a little bit unproven to this point, and the 6R140s are very proven, but their #1 problem that I come across with customers is they never serviced them. And so what we see is we see a failed transmission or a failed valve body in the transmission due to debris, clutch material, everything like that. If you can imagine, these transmissions are built, stuck in the truck, and then these, people are driving and putting 100,000, 200,000 miles on them without ever servicing them. Well, there is a break-in period that occurs on a brand new transmission. And so really, you should be changing the transmission fluid the first time pretty quick to get all that break-in material out, as well as any assembly lube that they use when they put the transmission together. All of that stuff, you got to get it out of there. That way you have a fresh fluid and filter, because that stuff is going to go through that filter. It's going to clog up the filter, and it's going to cause problems. In addition to that, I'm going to go over our service intervals, but I want to show you guys the transmission pan that we installed on this particular truck. So here is our transmission pan on our 6R140. You can see we have an upgraded transmission pan from PPE. It is deeper. It does hold an extra 7 quarts. But the biggest thing is it's got a drain plug. The 17 and 19 6.7s did not come with a drain plug, so this is a big upgrade for the 17 and 19. I believe the 11 to 16s did have a drain plug, so this isn't as needed. But the 17 and 19, great opportunity. If it's never, if you're going to do a train service, spend a little bit extra money and get yourself a nice trans pan that has a drain plug. The main reason I did that pan was because of the drain plug, not necessarily that it holds an extra 7 quarts, but I chose the PPE one because it uses all factory OEM filter and gasket. So that is a big bonus. I wanted to make sure I stuck with OEM filters and seals, and so that trans pan retains those. It does add an extra 7 quarts, which, you know, whatever, maybe it keeps it a little bit cooler. You know, it is a really nice pan, so it helps with strengthening the case as well of the transmission. Now, when it comes to service intervals on this, so this truck had 100,000 miles on it when I did its first service. So I did a full service on it. So the filter, the fluid, and then we upgraded the pan. Now, when I get to 150,000 miles, all I'm gonna do is just pull the drain plug, drain the fluid, put the drain plug back in, top it off. That is all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do a fluid exchange, basically. And then when I get to 200,000 miles, we will do a full service again, fluids and filters. So basically the fluid's getting serviced every 50,000 miles. The filter is gonna get serviced every 100,000 miles. That seems to be a pretty good interval as far as servicing goes. Most of the problems that we see is like 150,000 miles, the trains has never been serviced, and the transmission starts to have problems, starts to act up, and next thing you know, you got to spend 10 grand on a new transmission. All right, so now we have number 4 on our top 5 list, and that is going to be what you see right there. Ford did try to do a little bit better in 17 to 19 by going to a full silicone. Unfortunately, it does still fail. My particular failure was right there. You guys can see it. See that slit right there? So that is where mine had failed. And of course you can see it's covered in oil due to that failure. It was just pushing all the boost pressure, and then our CCV was allowing some oil to get into it. And so it was just an absolute mess. The 11 to 16s, they have like a plastic piece that just absolutely blows apart. So that is, again, another nice upgrade here. And it's always when you're towing and making a bunch of boost pressure. And so our number one company that I like to use is actually S&B. S&B just makes some high quality products, and they did a phenomenal job with this cold side pipe. You can see we got the polished version. Nice boot that goes down to our intercooler and takes care of that particular problem. Again, big time failure point on these trucks. We see it all the time. No bueno. Got to get it out of there. You do not want to be hauling something and have that blow apart. Last but not least, number 5. This is a big one. It's unfortunate that we have to deal with this as a consumer, but it's the reality. And so fortunately, the aftermarket has some really good options for us available. This is still something that I haven't done yet, and so I'm going to go over some of the precautions I've been taking. Our injection pump, the CP4. The CP4 is a ticking time bomb. It's not a matter of if it's going to fail, it's when. And it will fail. It is slowly killing itself every time you run the truck. We don't normally see failures in the 6.7 Powerstrokes, and there's a couple different reasons for that. These trucks have a lift pump. They always have. And so we hardly ever see failures in the 6.7 Powerstrokes. We've actually had a customer with 350,000 miles. The pump literally was just wore out. And so we replaced the pump, and the customer took the truck, no problem. So it's not like it failed internally and sent metal through the entire fuel system. It just simply was wore out. Now, the Duramax guys, I tell you, those poor guys, they don't have a lift pump. And so they're running a CP4 as well. And but because they don't have a lift pump, we see failures at 100,000, 150,000, 200,000. We see failures all the time. Anytime the cab goes up on a Duramax, especially those 11 to 16s with the CP4, we are pulling that regulator out of the top to check the screen, see if there's metal in the screen. If there's metal in the screen, we automatically are like, hey, we need to go to a CP3 conversion. Now, unfortunately for us 6.7 guys, the CP3 is not an option that we can take advantage of. So we kind of have 3 different options. The first option is a disaster prevention kit, which basically bypasses the fuel that is in the crankcase of the pump and sends it back to the fuel tank. It filters it and then sends it back to the fuel tank. that is a really good option. I've installed a bunch of those on customers' trucks. It's pretty cost effective, and then when the pump fails, it doesn't destroy your entire fuel system. All you got to do is put a new pump on. No big deal. The second option is from RCD Performance. They have the CPX. The CPX is supposedly being able to take care of all the problems with the CP4. Now, inherently, it is still a CP4, but I've heard guys use those and not have problems. So that is another really good option that you can do. And then last but not least, of course, everybody I'm sure knows about the DCR conversion from S&S. That is an entirely different pump than the CP4. This was like revolutionary when this came out, and so it's a great option for these trucks. We've installed a few here at the shop, and yeah, that would be the third option to take care of our CP4 issues. Now, like I said, I have not done anything as far as the CP4, disaster kit, the CPX, or DCR. I haven't done anything. But what I have been doing, like I said, we did change our fuel filters, of course, and then also I've been adding a fuel additive. One of the big problems, the reason that the CP4 fails, is that it was mainly designed for like normal diesel fuel, not ultra low sulfur diesel fuel that is sold in America. Which basically means that they removed all of the oils that are in fuel for emissions purposes. And so all I'm trying to do is I'm running a fuel additive that adds lubricity back to the fuel. That's all I'm doing, and that should help prolong the life of the CP4. But eventually I do plan on most likely going to be going with a DCR pump. But in the meantime, we're just going to change our fuel filters on regular intervals and make sure we put a fuel additive lubricant into our fuel on every fill up. So, well guys, that is gonna wrap up today's video. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to me babble on about the 6.7 Powerstroke and how awesome it is and how much I love it. I hope this video is helpful for you guys that are getting into a 6.7. These are great trucks and well worth the money, and you will not be disappointed. Just make sure you do those top 5 things right off the rip to take care of those issues. And for those of you that had stayed this long in the video, stay tuned. We're gonna do a fire up of the truck as a possible top number 6 thing that you should do on these trucks as well for reliability and performance. Thank you guys again for tuning in. We will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.